Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We're back. Inshallah, we'll finish this chapter now. We're going to talk about terrestrial biomes. Okay. As I said, there are different classifications, about how many biomes there are, but we should go with this. Terrestrial biomes. Tundra, TNT, we talked about it there on the top. Tundra and taiga. Taiga are Canadian neighbors upstairs. Also known as coniferous forest or evergreen forest. Then there's desert, chaparral, grasslands or savanna, temperate deciduous forest. That's where we live. We live in temperate deciduous forest area. Tropical rainforest. Okay, these are general biomes. So here it is. TNT on the top, blue. Okay, tundra and taiga. And here is deciduous forest. When you say deciduous forest, it means trees that lose their leaves in winter. They're called deciduous. Okay, so when the the kids lose their baby teeth, right? They're called deciduous teeth because they lose them. Deciduous. So deciduous is things that fall. So deciduous forest is where we live, and that's where the trees lose their leaves. Okay, compared to tropical forest, the trees don't lose their leaves over there. Okay, and grasslands and deserts and savannas and chaparral. Okay, so these are the general outline of the different biomes. Now, basically, which biome is going to exist in a certain area is going to depend on how far away it is from the equator. That's the bottom line. But more precisely, there are two things that determine what kind of biome is going to exist in a certain area. And if you wanted to guess, it would be average temperature of that area, the temperature, and the annual precipitation. In other words, how much rain it gets. Precipitation, of course, is a general term that includes rain, snow, sleet, hail, etc. So the amount of water it gets from the sky in different forms, and the average temperature in that area determines what kind of biome is going to exist. For example, the average temperature in a desert is very, very high, right? But look, same thing, a tropical rainforest is pretty toasty too. But a desert does not look like a rainforest because rainforest has a boatloads of precipitation, whereas a desert does not have it, right? So it's the combination of precipitation and the temperature that determine what kind of a climax community is going to exist over there. Does that make sense? So if very hot and not a lot of precipitation, desert. Okay, a lot of precipitation, hot, and tropical rainforest. Okay, all the way up to tundra way up there at North Pole. Very cold and also very little precipitation. Okay, it's so much ice in the North Pole, not because it snows there all the time. It's because it never melts, except of course, unfortunately, because of global warming, right? Do you understand? Because it's so cold, it doesn't melt. Okay, it's like that. So tundra and taiga. Okay, and temperate, we kind of like all the way in the middle right here. Okay. So that's that. The other thing is, and what determines this temperature and precipitation? Okay, well, that's the tilt of the Earth. Okay, and how the sun strikes the Earth in lifetime. That's basically what it is. So the latitude, okay, single most important determinant factor in climate and climate screen, as I said, the latitude is how far away it is from the equator, okay, is the single most important factor because that determines basically what? The temperature and the precipitation, okay? So the latitude is. So here it is. And we shall talk about each one of these briefly and before we finish. So tundra, way up on top. So here's a picture of tundra, okay? There's no trees in tundra. Yeah? You can imagine like a big giant tree like in the North Pole. It just doesn't go like. They have long summer days, short period of winter sunlight, okay? Only the topmost layer of soil thaws. Okay? And beneath is permafrost. In other words, there's part of the soil that's permanently frozen. Permanently frozen. And therefore, there ain't no tree going in there. No trees. It's not that the place doesn't have any life, see? It has life. Yes, you know the polar bear. Yeah? There is life over there. Compare that to taiga, slightly below that, okay? That's like Canada, as I was saying, okay? Taiga, it goes by a different name, right? It goes by Canada, I'm just kidding. It goes by boreal or northern coniferous forest, okay? So this is like most of Russia and Canada, right? Now, the thing about Canada and us, for example, is that it's mostly evergreen forest. See, evergreen trees are suited to live in a drier climate. They don't have as much rain as we do, okay? And evergreens are evergreens because they hang on to every drop of water that they can get from their environment, okay? So here it is. Here's them evergreens. You see that? Okay. Here's the life forms. Now a desert. Look at the desert. Desert, they have very little precipitation. Because of that, very sparse plant life, of course. This is the Atacama Desert, apparently in Chile, over here. Okay, which is the world's driest place. Look at how much rain they get every year. 0.004 inches of rainfall every year. That's like hardly any rain, you know. Very dry. But not all deserts are the same, see? Deserts can have some sparse plant life. And the plant life and animal life that existed where they have special adaptations to survive in such an environment, okay? Here's a grassote bushes, apparently. Okay? And there's wildlife in the desert too, right? Now look, what kind of adaptations do these plants have, okay? So, the spine needles leaves, okay, they prevent from moisture from leaving the tree. Okay, they have a waxy coat that prevents moisture from leaving leaves. Okay, and look at this cactus. Okay, their roots don't go dig down, see, because there's no water deep down. What are you going to do? Look for water deep down. It ain't there. So their roots go laterally. They go like this, horizontally, carpeting the wall, because that's where you're going to find water if it's going to be there, right? Compared to the. So there are special adaptations that these life forms have evolved for themselves to survive in that environment. Here's a kangaroo rat. This rat is so smart. It's herbivore, okay? It does not even need water. It gets all the water it needs from food, from its food. Because there's water in food, right? You'll never see it drinking water from a fountain. That's a kangaroo. Okay, now here's grasslands. Beautiful. Look at this grassland. You think this is grassland, so beautiful, so verdant, yeah? But yet it cannot support big trees, see? Because the soil can't support big, because it doesn't have that much rain. It has 25 to 75 centimeters of precipitation per year. Well, much better than that desert that we talked about, but you'll see it's not as much as some of the forests we're going to talk about. So grasslands have, yeah, they're very green, yeah? But they don't have big trees because they can't support big trees. They don't have that much precipitations. They go by different names: prairie, savanna, like prairie land, grassland, right? Bisons go savanna. Dry seasons, so forests do not form. They have a dry season, but they're beautiful. And where would the buffaloes be, and the elephants, the antelopes, and the zebra without the grasslands, right? Now look at this temperate forest, okay? Now compare the precipitation here in temperate forest. That's where we live here in deciduous forest. See, precipitation in deciduous forest 75 to 100 centimeters annually. Okay, look at that. That's how much precipitation. What does that even mean? I'll help you understand what that means. 25 to 7 centimeters. In other words, if you have like a little cup of water, and it'd be like 75 centimeters up there. That's how much precipitation that would be in a year. 25 to 75, and here's temperate forest, 70 to 150, almost twice as much, right? They have twice as much. Of course, they're going to have twice as much. Who else is going to water them big trees? You know, you water the plants, right? You're going to have water them big trees. You're going to have water them lots of water. So a temperate forest, a deciduous forest, they have to have more. And their topsoil, as you can imagine, is very rich, right? Okay, and deeper layers, they're clay. Okay. Here's temperate forest. All kinds of living creatures live right there. Some of these are the backyard. Look at this beautiful picture, deciduous forest. Now compare that now to tropical rainforest, right? Tropical, look how much rain they get. 200 to 600 centimeters of rainfall annually. Deciduous forest like 70 to like 150. There's like small potatoes, right, compared to tropical forest rainforest, right? 200 to 600. It's like, that's how much rain a desert gets, like in 500 years or so, you know what I'm saying? So there's lots of annual rainfall. So that's tropical rainforest. It gets lots of rain, all right? Now, tropical rainforests are the most biodiverse of all ecosystems. In other words, there's so many different types of living things in tropical rainforest. There's nowhere else on Earth you find such biodiversity. I mean, you talk about, what that means is that if there are 10 types of birds in Illinois, there would be like, in the same area, there would be like 200 types of birds in it. It's like that. It's very, very biodiverse. Okay? And we have to be careful because a good part of the tropical rainforest are being cut down and destroyed. Look at the biodiversity. Some of the most beautiful living things that you find on the planet are in the tropical rainforest. So we should have almost finished here. We should talk about how come there's such biodiversity in the rainforest. How come there's so many different types of living things in the rainforest. Okay, there are 3 reasons surmised here. The 3 given. First is that during the ice ages, see, ice covered good part of the earth, and during the ice ages, okay, or the last glacial age in the earth, the tropical area was spared from the ice sheets. In other words, everything under there was covered by ice sheet. Everything was there, right? Except the only living part of the earth was in the tropical area. So tropical areas were spared of the ice sheets during the last glacial age. The second thing is very important difference. See, you never go to tropical rainforest and see all the trees that lost their leaves because it's like winter time or something. They don't lose their leaves. They're not deciduous. Okay, but they're not like evergreens either. But they're, you know what I'm saying? They don't lose their trees. The trees don't lose their leaves. They are not deciduous. In other words, animals living there have year-round food supply. You understand? So because they have more time to evolve, okay? And the third reason is they have multitude of habitats. If you recall what the word habitat is a geographic area where the animal lives out its life, right? Okay, they have multitude of habitat. What does that mean? See, if you look at this picture over here, you will say, okay, that's like, okay, tropical rainforest area. But this is actually more like 4 tropical rainforest area, because this is one habitat. It's like one community. It's like one city. And on top is another city, on top of another city, on top of another city. In other words, there's different communities here, different communities here, different community here, and different communities here. That's what we mean by multitude of habitats in the same area. For example, these type of animals, living things, live here. These type of animals live here, okay? And these type of animals live here, and these type of animals live here. So even in longitudinally, there are different biodiversity because of the nature of the area. So the lowest most layer is called the ground layer, and then the second layer is called the understory or subcanopy layer. The third layer is called the canopy layer, and the last layer is called the emergent, the new layer that's growing. Okay, so that's it. That's our survey of the different biomes. Again, as a review, we talked about the tundra, which is treeless, the permafrost, and the taiga with its coniferous forest, and desert, which is driest area with sparse plants, and grasslands. They have dry seasons, therefore there are no trees there. temperate deciduous forests and tropical rainforests, and we talked about the remarkable biodiversity of the tropical rainforest and the speculations as to why that is. Inshallah, next time we'll talk about population dynamics in chapter 4. Until then, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum.